Most people look at General Grievous and see a villain, a machine built by Palpatine to hunt Jedi, a coughing dramatic warlord who loses to Obi-Wan in about 3 minutes. But here's what I think he actually is. Grievous might be one of the most tragic figures in all of Star Wars. Not a monster, not a tool, a warrior whose entire identity was taken from him one piece at a time. Here's the entire story of General Grievous. Before the armor, before the cough, before everything, there was a man named Qymaen J. Sheelal. He was born on the planet Kaleesh, home of the Kaleesh, a deeply spiritual warrior species who worshipped their greatest fighters almost as demigods. And Qymaen, he was exceptional even among his own people. By the time he was a teenager, he was already a hunter and a sniper, one of the deadliest on the planet. But what truly forged him was a war. The Huk, a neighboring species, had enslaved the Kaleesh for generations. When they attacked again, Qymaen didn't just defend his people, he organized them. He led raids, he drove the Huk off Kaleesh entirely, and then he took the war to them on their own worlds. We can see in the Star Wars Obsession comic miniseries that he fought alongside a female Kaleesh warrior named Rondaroo Liege Kumar, someone he genuinely loved. They were partners in combat and in life. When Rondaroo died in battle, something permanently broke inside him. He renamed himself Grievous, because that's what he was, grief wearing armor. Now with that being said, the story doesn't end there. The Huk ran to the Galactic Republic for help, and the Senate, in one of its many legendary failures, backed the Huk. They imposed sanctions on Kaleesh, sanctions that left Grievous's people starving. From that moment on, Grievous's hatred of the Republic wasn't political. It was personal, it was ancient, and it was never going away. Now here's where Canon and Legends split, and where the lore gets kinda dark. In Legends, specifically James Luceno's novel Labyrinth of Evil and Steve Barnes's The Cestus Deception, Grievous didn't volunteer to become a cyborg, he was manufactured. Dooku and Darth Sidious identified him as the perfect weapon, a warrior with natural skill, a personal vendetta against the Republic, and critically, no Force sensitivity, a Jedi hunter who couldn't be turned to the light side because there was no connection to the Force at all, so they arranged an accident. The shuttle Grievous was traveling on mysteriously malfunctioned and crashed. He barely survived. The banking clan, working as a proxy for the Separatists, funded the rebuilding of his body. Dooku personally oversaw the reconstruction. Grievous was given a choice: die or become something more. He chose more. In canon, his transformation is less explicitly staged, but the Clone Wars series implies he willingly embraced certain cybernetic enhancements over time, choosing to become a more effective warrior. But both continuities agree on one detail that I think is crucial. He kept his organic heart, his lungs, and his eyes. He never fully let go of being Kaleesh. That wasn't an accident. That was a choice. Once rebuilt, Count Dooku took Grievous on as a personal combat student. And I want you to understand what that actually means because people consistently underestimate it. Dooku was one of the greatest sword fighters who ever lived, a former Jedi Master trained by Yoda himself, and a practitioner of Form 2 Makashi, the precision dueling form specifically designed to defeat other lightsaber users. He had decades of experience and he was passing all of it directly to Grievous. Grievous took to it immediately because his cybernetic body gave him reaction times and physical capabilities no organic being could match. 4 arms, each moving independently, each capable of holding a lightsaber. Now, with that being said, let me be clear about something important. Grievous is not Force sensitive. He couldn't feel or use the Force at all, and yet he went on to kill dozens of Jedi in single combat. When you fight 4 arms moving independently, each one operating with mechanical precision and no fatigue, you can't read the pattern. You can't anticipate the next strike because there isn't one consistent rhythm. He could attack and defend in every direction simultaneously. And every lightsaber on his belt, a trophy. Every single one represents a Jedi he killed personally. If you're enjoying this breakdown, drop a like. It genuinely helps the channel more than most people realize. And if deep lore dives like this one are your thing, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Now, back to Grievous, because this is where it gets really interesting. Let's address the cough, because I guarantee at some point you've wondered about it. In Legends, there is one clean definitive answer. The comic miniseries Star Wars Obsession, set before Revenge of the Sith, depicts the Battle of Boss Pity. During that battle, Mace Windu uses the Force to crush Grievous's chest cavity. That Force squeeze cracked his internal casing, permanently damaged his remaining organic lungs, and created the raspy wheeze you hear throughout the entire film. In canon, there's no single moment the Clone Wars series suggests that organic components were simply degrading over time, the natural consequence of an organic being living inside a machine body. I genuinely think the Legends version is way more satisfying as a story beat, Mace Windu literally breaking the galaxy's most feared general with one force crush is incredible. But the canon version is actually more biologically realistic. But let me know in the comments which one you prefer. By the height of the Clone Wars, Grievous had already been given command of the entire Separatist military, his single most terrifying moment on record, the Battle of Hypori. This can be seen in the 2003 Clone Wars miniseries, where 7 Jedi, including Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shaak-Ti, Aayla Secura, and Karuk, were ambushed on Hypori while waiting for rescue. Grievous hunted them in the dark. He killed 3 of them. By the time the gunships arrived, the survivors were barely standing. That sequence communicates everything the galaxy already knew about him. He's not just a general, he's a predator. In canon, his most chilling moment is arguably the massacre of the Night Sisters on Dathomir, which can be shown in the Clone Wars TV show in Season 4, Episode 19, Massacre. Ordered by Darth Sidious as punishment for Mother Talzin's interference in his plans, Grievous led a full-scale military assault on Dathomir and nearly wiped out the entire clan from existence. His rivalry with Obi-Wan Kenobi runs through both canon and legends like a thread, starting with their early clashes and developing into a genuine ongoing war between 2 masters of their respective crafts. Obi-Wan was simply the one combatant who consistently denied Grievous a clean victory. It's no accident that Obi-Wan was the one chosen to hunt him down at the end. By the time of Revenge of the Sith, Grievous was commanding the last of the Separatist forces from the sinkhole planet Utapau. Matthew Stover's novelization of Revenge of the Sith, genuinely one of the best pieces of writing in all of Star Wars, describes Grievous through Obi-Wan's perspective as something almost sad. Not a monster, but the remnants of something that was once great, twisted beyond recognition by years of war. Their duel is very short in the film, but in the broader context of everything that came before it, every clash, every near miss, every battle across the whole war, it's the end of a long story. Obi-Wan turns Grievous's own weapon against him and jams a SCA-20 blaster into the exposed organic organs in his chest cavity and fires. Moving back to our point in the beginning of the video, here's what I think gets completely lost when people discuss Grievous. He is written as a villain and absolutely functions as one. But trace the whole arc, the Huk War, the Republic's abandonment of Kaleesh, the manufactured accident, the transformation, and what you actually have is a story about a man whose entire identity was engineered away from him by forces far larger than himself. He chose to name himself Grievous after losing someone he loved. He kept his organic heart, a detail specified in Legends as his choice, not a technical necessity. He never fully wanted to stop being Kaleesh. And Dooku and Sidious turn him into a weapon anyway. That doesn't make him a hero, I'm not arguing that, but it makes him one of the most compelling and underappreciated characters in Star Wars lore. His war wasn't about ideology. It wasn't about Palpatine's grand plan. He was there because the Republic had already failed his people. The Confederacy just handed him the means to fight back. And in the end, he was discarded just like everyone else Sidious ever used. That is the full story of General Grievous, from Qymaen J. Sheelal, the feared warrior of Kaleesh, to the weapon Dooku and Sidious spent years building, to the hollow machine Obi-Wan finally laid to rest on Utapau. Let me know in the comments if you share the same opinion, that Grievous is actually one of Star Wars' most tragic figures. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you. Always.